are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
Fellow panelists a lot. I'm a moderator. You know what the role of a moderator is, right? I only play football. I'll pass every question to them to answer. I will speak one sentence and then probably hand it over to all three of them. So please have a huge round of applause for my fellow panelists. So please. I think, the topic very, very close to my heart. I've been having a lot of discussions outside on the Indian economy, service-led, services being the future. Everybody talking about service models evolving. But on the heart of it is, if you look at the majority of Indian economy, people will think that it's a large corporate game. It's not. It's a mid-market to a MSME game from an Indian economy and the growth perspective. And if I look at that, the role of MSPs in those is just going to go through the roof. And as and more, we add more tech layer, we add more AI layer, more, and we've not even seen light of the day from a quantum perspective. The role of MSPs in that will just keep on evolving. With that, let me come to you, Akshay, first to hear your opening comments.
I feel there are a lot of and lots of products coming into the market. Every day we see some new AI product, we see new SaaS products coming in. All of them have a challenge, to grow until a certain level, and then, they become stagnant. Somewhere these MSPs over time, help them, grow more. So definitely, we MSPs have, very good scope to grow more and more with these new age products. Help them, they themselves are looking for, MSPs around, the globe to help them, get more and more customers in it. So this is my review that definitely, MSPs, we should get into the stage where we are looking for new products, we are becoming more competitive, and we are giving those type of services to our customers. That would be my comments.
Excellent points. Becoming more competitive is something that I will take away from this, and maybe we'll have our fellow panelists talk about the competitiveness of the MSPs when we end it. Akshay, yeah. Sorry, we've got two Akshays. So, Akshay, Kumar, Sharma is probably, AKS is much better. So AKS, your opening comments, please.
So I think let's look at the whole MSP story, which has been evolving with most of the traditional SIs. And it also happened with us. So let me start with the story, which is my personal experience. When we started our MSP journey, it was like any other SI. We had 4 products in the basket, and 5th one has become an MSP. And we realized after a year that we have not been that successful in the MSP model. And we started realizing that it is not because of customers, it is not because of tech expertise. One thing which came out very, very strong was culture, right? So we all know that culture eats strategy at the breakfast. And we realized that the MSP is the way the whole ecosystem is changing. The cultural mindset of the organization has to change. And that's a very important aspect in case the MSPs have to go to a next level. And the way the question has been asked about the changing model, I'm a staunch believer of Indian ethos and Indian mythology. And let me take an instance of Mahabharata. Lord Krishna has never fought the battle himself. It was always a Sudarshan Chakra, which used to go to the destination and come back. It's a very good example of how autonomous-driven MSPs work. They do not get into micromanagement. They do not get into basically trivial things. But end of the day, what is happening is the outcome is achieved. So I think that's one of the aspects. And I'll discuss more on the Indian ethos during the course of discussion, because I believe that all of us have got learning place, and this is one of the areas through which we can learn from each other.
I think great points. You learn something every day. This is the second time I've seen a reference to Mahabharata on a panel, and the earlier one was on Ramayana. Somebody asked me on a panel saying which is the oldest deep fake which ever existed. Any ideas? Reference Ramayana. Deep fake. Ravan. Ravan, when he took on the avatar of a sage, was the oldest defect. Sorry, heard it in a conference, so I thought. God's kind and cruel, having Vishal sir with me on the same panel. Given his experience, my experience, it seems like the difference is like 8086 processor versus quantum. Sir, your initial comments, please.
So I think, if I was to probably start with a phrase that, most of us don't have a choice. We have to get through an MSP way. I'm sure, I talk to so many of my friends. Everybody is starting their journey and, they're starting their journey on their different, their thought process on an MSP would be a very different. But see, I think, if we really look at that, why MSP is required by a lot of customers. We heard, panelists saying that, there's a lot of new technology coming in. But let me also tell you that it is also back-looking. That, today, I was hearing, this was in one of the stand-up comedy jokes saying, we have a problem, काम है, लोग नहीं है, लोग है तो काम नहीं है, और जो है उनको आता नहीं है. So if that is the question, when we have to really look at it, when we go to a customer says that he has people. Their people are only trying to ensure that there is a break fix which is happening. And how do you really ensure that, there is a continuous improvement in your system? Or, when that guy leaves, next one comes, your whole quality, quantitative system will start to change. Because, there is no method which is there. So you need something which is value driven. I am not a very big believer of SLAs because, when I talked to one of my customers, he said that you do all of our security. Are we secured? I said, I don't know. And he said, how can you answer this? I said, you have never put a penalty on us, so I am believing that, you are safe. But there is no method that you did to really check whether there is a value which is getting added. You're only saying that, if there is no SLA breach, we will not charge you. And then he changed everything. We did a value-based, outcome-based, contract with them. And I think why it is extremely important because in last few years, a lot of people have invested very heavily in their infrastructure, very heavily in security, very heavily on all of these, issues which are there. Modernization is happening with a very, very, fast pace. You need somebody who understands this from a totality perspective and then able to help you. I also believe that, no customer will actually survive with one MSP. He'll have at least multiple MSPs to look at about at least if not one, at least two or three to ensure that his infrastructure, application and security and, other stuff can be really managed and then probably have the own governance layer on that.
Yeah. I think, sir, as I said, super big fan, excellent points. Make a checker within application infra by giving it to two MSPs, one probably being the maker, the other being the checker, is the way to go. And already, I think in the last 3-4 years, at least from an SLA perspective, very few organizations, whether it's IT, whether it's security, now stick to those traditional 5 nines of high availability. It's more on outcome based, right? Saying this is the overall outcome that I expect. Now, whether you deliver it within your SLA, what is your micro level SLA? I don't think so. A lot of organizations are bothered. But as I think that is only maybe top 2, 3, 5% of organizations. The rest are
XLA, it's called experience-led
agreements. Perfect. Superb. Your opening comments, Ritesh sir.
So, I represent Redington. We are one of the largest distributors of technology products in India. So I will put forward a point of view which is more distribution-oriented, transformation-led. How I see MSPs partaking in this entire ecosystem can be divided in 3 boxes, according to me. One box is discovery, the other is reach, and the third is relationship. Without any of these 3 boxes, it is largely impossible to get the quality of service or technology adoption done at a organizational level, especially in the SME space. So I think it is very critical for this ecosystem to have such people who can put all these three boxes together, check these three boxes together for a lot of companies, then take it forward in real scope. That's what I feel.
Yeah, so then let's now start with your excellent opening comments. And Vishal sir spoke about it. I probably mentioned it. The traditional MSP model will not remain the same, right? So how, according to you, is the MSP model going to change in the services-led, I'll add another word, right? Services-led digital economy. Yeah. So I'm now starting.
Yeah, so I think there has been a transition, there's been a timeline through which we have all gone through. We are in 2025. I think we've had a journey for more than a decade where things have evolved from a very nascent stage to, I would say, near developed stage right now. And it has happened at the back of several great people who've been in the part of this ecosystem, who've been doing various things and various elements. Going back to my 3-box checklist, which I already mentioned to you. How this role evolves further is from the mindset of unlocking value for the customer. So I think rather than a tool-based solution, if it has to move into real unlocking of value, it has to move to a more outcome-based solution. So, as sir said that nobody has given us any penalty, which is one of the ways in which how we decipher that things are going in the right direction. Maybe there are several other parameters, which will come into play. And I think there's a lot of scope for expanding and compressing various solutions and architecture-wise that MSPs can do in order for us to create real value for the end customer. I think that is what needs to be done at the end of the day. That's what I feel.
I probably had just one thing that I read somewhere that, rather than having SLAs, one outcome-based, but outcome also intelligence-based, right? Vishal and AKS, probably a combined question to you, Vishal sir, you can start first. A lot of companies want to decide whether I go the MSP model or in-house, right? In my limited experience of 20 odd years, the first conversation is always around cost, right? Do you think cost is still the biggest arbitrage in which the discussion happens or the decision happens? What are your thoughts around the entire cost optimization piece to the entire MSP story?
So I think, we are seeing there are now becoming two distinct worlds. People who have just done it on the cost side, cost arbitrage, and they have been beaten very badly because of that. Okay, and I think they are our targets where we go to, and when they understand that now the cost is not because there are no outcomes which they've been able to define. We all know how these large MSPs have worked. They go to a customer. It's a procurement driven process. And you're doing a reverse auction, and then once you've done it, then you're just ensuring that you bring down the cost. And how do you bring down the cost is not by bringing the automation, not by bringing in this, by bringing in the lower quality of people. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the practical scenario which is there. But I think a lot of people who have done that and they are now moving out of these contracts, they are saying that, no, we don't bother that, whether it is a higher cost, but, they are not defining what is going to be the role for their in-house team, what is going to be the role that they are expecting us to play. And they are also talking about how do you connect it with the outcome, which is there. And I think, it is changing, but, let me be honest, the change is not as strong as that it is there. I think, it is very good to sit on a panel and say, it is very good and other things. But I think, one of the things that, we are very slow in terms of acquiring customers which are value-driven customers is primarily to do that. I can just give you one example for that particular thing, which is there. So we're talking to a customer, and customers say that, I'm trying to outsource my SOC. Okay. And his complete SOC outsourcing, you have to understand this. It's a very large company, and their complete SOC outsourcing in a reverse auction went for 35 lakhs for a year. Okay. And customer ended up paying us about 62 lakhs just to manage his F5. So I would also, I was actually doing just one job, getting more money, then, giving out. So it is something like this that a lot of people are not realizing. They're just putting one very old 80-year man with one stick outside your house and believing that he'll stop everything for you. So I think that process, a lot of people are changing, but the process is very slow.
And I have gone to companies who are saying, give me one L1. I said, he can't work 24/7. Na? To run one day 24/7, you need at least 4.5 people. And if you multiply them with the minimum wages also, then the 32 lakhs that you're talking about, it does not even fulfill that for a year. With that,
Just one
please.
small comment. I think there's a lot that is riding on experience. So, and experience is something that is spreading with internet, taking shape, and a lot of people, lot of dialogues happening on various forums and others. More and more people are waking up to the fact that low investment doesn't always means efficiency. And efficiency is what everybody sees.
But like Vishal sir said, sorry, at least I believe that is only 5% of the population that has waken up. 90% still want to do a reverse auction, L1. It's a L1 game.
Yeah, but then
even super
also
large
quoted,
corporates.
he also quoted the example of A value versus B value. I think that is more
Yeah.
prominent. So we can see it almost on a daily basis how things are evolving. So I think that
Perfect.
shift
We'll
has
get AKS sir also to comment on this cost.
So I think
piece.
I will talk about two important points. One is that obviously cost has been an important aspect till 2024 or so, where people talked about in-house cost versus MSP cost. But now I think the scenario has changed from a cost savings to a risk saving environment. And especially this has become more relevant when security has become a boardroom discussion. They are not talking about how much cost we are saving, they're talking about how secure are we and how prone we are to attacks. I think that's a completely change of mindset which has happened. And that's one of the reasons is customers are not interested in technologies, customers are not interested in how many dashboards you're using, how many tools are they using. End of the day, customer needs a peace of mind. And for that peace of mind, how much value can you drive out of the whole scenario? So I think value-based environment. Let me give a very good example, which is from Ramayana. Again, I thought I'll discuss more on this. When Lakshman was unconscious, it was told that somebody has to get Sanjeevani Booty, right? And Hanuman has flown to Dronagiri Parvat, and he basically was not able to find out which is the Sanjeevani Booty. So he brought the complete mountain. Now look at the scenario. Scenario is very simple. It was more, efforts were definitely more, but was it a positive outcome? Yes, it was definitely a positive outcome. So that means what is happening is customers are not interested in how many man hours you're putting, what is your working hours. They are interested in what is the outcome. And if outcome is positive, that means MSPs have been really successful.
Sir, only again 10% outcome.
Yeah,
90% wants ki I have a contract in place with somebody so that if any agency comes, any of my clients ask me, I have a MSP in place, right? With that, probably the most difficult question of the evening to you, Akshay. Today, every CIO, CISO, CTO, CDO, whatever designation, somebody who dapples with technology has at least 30 to 40 MSP options to go with. Starting from a consulting firm to a IT services firm to boutique consulting firms to strategy firms also starting some form of MSP today, right? So being an enterprise, what do you think, how should you evaluate your MSP on? Is a very puzzling as well as, I don't have an answer to this, right? Somebody said SLA, somebody said SLA and the experience is only after you start working for them, right? Ever you've started not working with them, how do I evaluate who should I go with? And everybody will say, I will pick up your call at 11 o'clock in the night. And the last piece is, I met somebody who runs a strategy consulting firm, and he said, I will never start a SOC in my life. I said, why? I said, it is the most booming business today. He said, L1, L2, looking at a screen, does not know the value if he misses an alert on what is the damage it can do to my brand and what is the damage it can do to the client's brand as well. He says L1, L2s might be very, very good, but their appreciation of the business risk will never be there. So what are your thoughts there? Sorry for a longest question.
No problem. No problem. My So nowadays, it's not just, the customer, the enterprises, are looking at, OEMs and their, compliances. They're also looking at, MSPs compliances as well. It's not just about, the manpower and things, but it's also about having those, SLAs in place. Even though, at the end, customers, enterprises are looking only for results. All they matter is about the results. But at the back end, we have to take care of all the, SLAs. We got to standardize these SLAs. We got to adapt through AI. We need to, build those trust with, evolving technologies that they are looking out for. It's like I mean, a lot of us definitely believe, we need to, use what we sell, or we need to have those types of compliances, or maybe the services that we are going to sell. So definitely, in this day and age, every MSP, it's not only about, having that manpower, having that resource available, to deliver the services. It's also about having those certificates and having all those the standard SLAs altogether, which, gives you that strength, gives that manpower the strength to, work in a standardized manner and give those results to each and every customers or enterprise out there.
Perfect. Certifications, value-added services, credentials, etc., etc. Since a couple of you mentioned AI, this is my last common question to all of you. Please take 30 seconds if you want to think about this. Happy to, if anybody in the audience wants to answer this question, very, very happy, because I don't have an answer. Remember, I'm the moderator. Everybody, wherever I go today, unfortunately, fortunately, in any meeting, if you don't use the word AI, the meeting is irrelevant, the conference is irrelevant. I read in a paper saying in 3 years, all MSPs will be AI-driven MSPs. And somewhere it also went on to the extent saying L1, L2, L3 will become redundant, we'll only have L4s, right? Two parts to my question. Do you really think we'll only have AI-powered MSPs and think data poisoning, think hallucination, etc., etc., when you talk about the risk? And second, are Indian organizations really ready to outsource their complete MSPs? I can start with you.
Short answer is no, because I think this is a transition process. People in India have a cultural mindset around testing, trying various outcomes before committing to something which is more concrete or long term. Long answer is that how I see this evolving in the next 5 to 7 years can go to that direction.
AI?
Yes, I can see that can go to that direction, but it also depends on how some of the tools perform and how a lot of service providers, especially MSPs, put some case studies forward for people to recognize and work with. So in my case, it's going to be a little bit of a slow burn. If 5 to 7 years is a slow burn, I mean, that is also debatable, but this is how I feel it will go.
If it happens, it will happen in 3 years. Sorry, that's this thing. 5 years probably we'll be staring at another technology. If quantum becomes cheap, I think then this entire AI piece probably will go away. Vishal sir, your thoughts on both the pieces?
Yeah, so I think first of all, as MSP, we should rename AI to applied intelligence rather than artificial intelligence.
Thank you, sir.
I think it is a very important thing. Where is it that you will invest money so that you are able to add value to the customer? I 100% agree to your point that L1, L2, L3 will go off, because that all the task is really being done to separate noise to signals everywhere, in every business,
sure,
which is there. So I think anything that today we are doing in terms of noise is going to go away. The only problem that I really see is that when we still live in L1 world, where your cost of compute for AI is going to be so high that and your manpower is still going to be cheaper. So I think it's going to be a long tail for that to happen. Otherwise,
thank you, sir.
Otherwise, it is 100% going to happen. There is no way, there is no force which can stop it.
Thank you so much. But on that note, I again, all internet, WhatsApp, LinkedIn knowledge, somewhere it said that there are two pieces, right? There is human on the machine and human in the machine, which is the applied intelligence piece. Human on the machine, which is looking at a machine L1, L2, L3, will go away. Human in the machine will remain and will dominate. Thank you so much. Sir.
Yeah, I think, so there's a new definition of AI again. Everybody is talking about their own definition. Especially from a software angle, if I talk about it's Atmic intelligence. Again, mythology, please. So I think what is going to happen is basic inputs which are there related to optimization of the software is going to be taken by the AI. But end of the day, the critical factors are still going to be taking some more time to make it 100% autonomous. That's an AI piece. And the second question was related to how things are changing, right?
Yeah. How Indian enterprises, are they ready to completely outsource MSPs?
So I think my answer to this is that Indian enterprises are still at the shallow waters. They are basically trying to outsource, which is not critical to MSPs, or they do not have the in-house expertise. Like that is the only two scenarios. Cost is still, I feel, is an important aspect, but still MSPs going to MSPs because of costing is never a winning proposition for either the customer or to the MSP itself.
Thank you. And I think we all agree, maybe the percentage would change, but 70-75% is still a cost arbitrage game. And that's where I think probably all of your jobs become much more difficult, which is build versus buy, right? The entire world is today grappling with that. I was in a conference where somebody was talking about why can't India build its first AI, et cetera, and some other intelligent person on the panel said there are already 5 million AI projects live. You know, why don't we just use them rather than spend so much money in building another one, right? So I think that's the build versus buy debate, which will probably never end. Your comments, please.
So I totally agree with you. You know, why to reinvent the wheel when there's already something built for it?
Wheel is already there.
Exactly. And again, like everybody gave new, I would also say that AI is like an adaptive intelligence. It really adapts immediately and gives you answers immediately, right? That is one thing I strongly believe rather than it being an artificial intelligence. And quite frankly speaking, AI is one thing, you know, that every MSPs need to get onto. Like you said, you know, within 3 years, you know, a lot of MSPs need to get onto AI or maybe AI enabled. Definitely, all the, you know, AI answers and all those things are definitely coming out of human brains, you know, asking all those adaptive answers, adaptive questions. So definitely AI is the whole thing for next time.
Perfect. Last 30 seconds each. We've spoken about MSPs, we've spoken about AI. I think talent and the war on talent is real, is as real as it can get. So how easy, difficult is it to really build an MSP from a talent perspective, and how do you keep that talent current? 30 seconds, anybody who wants to.
So traditionally, people have stuck on to organizations or chosen to move away, attrition I'm talking about, based on very few parameters, like for example, quality of work, or for example, money being one of the key things. I think what has happened in the last maybe 5, maybe more years is that there is a consciousness that has come around with people where learning and experience has also taken a very prominent sphere in the mind of the employees when it comes to a long-term engagement with a certain MSP or, for example, a certain organization. That will continue to uphold, number one. Number two, as AI comes in, and if AI comes in, people will need to be more trained, they will be more upgraded, and those organizations which invest in training and developing their employees will see better attrition, and those who still value cost and, for example, low input employments will suffer in the long term. That's my view.
Perfect.
I'd like to add to his comments. It's like a lot of us have, you know, those old employees within our organization working since a long time with us. It's like we need to take them to their college days back again. A little example of within our...
And teach them AI?
I would say not teach them AI, but, you know, look for those minds. You know, while in college we were asked to, you know, do different assignments and everything. So on the same example within our organization, what we did, we had an AI competition altogether. You know, get their own minds, develop different AIs, give us different, you know, thinking about how AI can, you know, enable our services, our opportunities, how we can go after them. And so that's where my, you know, thing is that this is how we can, retain those talents, give them more opportunities, and get them thinking just like, in those college days that they had to think about for their careers.
Perfect. I think right from service level agreements being redefined to experience level agreements to examples around Ramayana, Lakshman, the use of AI to changing MSP models. I think I had a great time. I learned so much from this panel today. Please give a huge round of applause to my panelists.
Can I just add one thing? I think the question of build is very important. I think we have to focus on build. We cannot just focus on consume. See what is happening to our forces. We are dependent on outside world. We are becoming next 25 years is about individual autonomy. So I think everybody has to build. I don't think there is any way that you can avoid that. Whoever will avoid that in next few years, they'll be off.
Sir, I similarly believe, just last 30 seconds, is we are as a country at a very inflection point. From a digital tech perspective, we use this, we can become the front runners from a tech perspective, from a global world perspective. Otherwise, we'll just be one of the other countries who've adopted AI. I personally feel that. Thank you so much.
Last thing I'll just like to add I'd like to tell the MSPs, AI doesn't make MSPs irrelevant. They usually make them more valuable.
More valuable.
So need to adapt onto AI very quickly as possible so that we can be in those people around, those 10%, maybe those 20% people, which will change, within 3 years.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you.